Welcome back to the Silent Hill experience. My experience. Nobody else's. This is part 2. And the final part. Now to save for time, I'm not going to talk about the stories of each game because that's what reviews are for, and these aren't those. And who really hasn't played these games already? Picking up from the last time, I quit Silent Hill 1 after learning that Pyramid Head was not in the game. Finally learning where he was, I went and purchased Silent Hill 2 on the PC. Unknowingly to me that the PC versions of Silent Hill were always the best ones, because they visually looked far superior and more scary because of the enhancements. And to add to those being it was on the PC, made it even scarier, because PC gaming wasn't my thing. Keyboards just have way too many buttons. Now before I started, my godfriend and I did talk about it some more. Knowing how I struggled in the first game, the second one was going to be even more challenging, so I needed some tips. Any weapons or things I should keep an eye out for? He responds that the chainsaw is the best weapon in the game, and it has unlimited use. I was all for that. But then came the news I hate to hear when it comes to any sort of good news. Well, good news when it comes to games. This one is ever so common, even today. And I still hear it, and I hate it. You have to beat the game to acquire it. Those words forever taunt me. You know how, you struggle in a game, you go to a cheat site, maybe GameWinners.com, and look up some help, go to the cheat section, and they will tell you how to get the best of what you need, but then of course, most of the time, you have to do something in return to get such a fortune bringer. And most of the time, it has to be beating the game, and or with certain conditions. The reason I hate it so much is because what if you have trouble doing that? And that's why you need this help. Don't tease me with something that can help me greatly through my struggle, and then say I can't have it until I beat my struggle. That defeats the purpose. Back on the subject, knowing I wasn't going to get mercy upon starting, I began Silent Hill 2. So-and-so, married, dead wife, got a letter, left my car door wide open, don't expect to see it when I come back. One forced adventure later. Stop! Are you seeing this? Yes. By some miracle, a chain of events, or I don't know what happened, the chainsaw somehow was already here and waiting for me. I promise you guys, this is no fib. I did nothing to alter the game. I installed it, booted it, and bam. No payments, no demands. Chainsaw was here and waiting, just for me to take it. The good Lord knew I was going to need this. He took pity on me. Without asking any questions or hesitating, worrying by some bug that the game would just magically take it away from me, I snatched the thing up and saved. I had my Master Sword, my Last Fencer, my ultimate weapon, my Keyblade, my key to victory, and oh my god, what is that? Sorry. Anyway, I got to the apartment building, and the only thing I could say is how much I hated this building. To make things worse, this game truly did terrify me. Everything about this game made me so nervous that I swear to God I wouldn't play it unless one of my friends came over. And he did. Every weekend. So, running through this hell, I finally run into the monster doing some sort of Pyramid Head things, and good thing this was a scene or I would have been too stunned to even move myself. In the end, I was speechless. I couldn't believe what I saw. I knew that triangle head anywhere. Yeah. Eager to shake his hand, I searched for a way to get to him. Eventually, I found him through a door. Unfortunately, I left my courage outside, and naturally, the door had to lock behind me. Ugh! Moving along, the next best part in this flashback is way later in the hospital. In the area where you and Maria are traveling to leave, you go down this long maze of corridors. At first, it seems alright, nothing unusual. But then I turn one corner and run! After my heart, over the course of this game many a time, I finally did beat it, about a couple of months in. This was during the time my schooling time at the academy had come to an abrupt end. So, I was on my own. Intrigued by the scares and the strong elements that made Silent Hill what it is, I couldn't have described my relationship with the series. It was so weird, disturbing, creepy. In short, I think Vincent perfectly says my exact thoughts about me with it.
I find it most fascinating.
With this new Silent Hill fetish I just got myself into, I had to continue on. So, again, for the PC, found Silent Hill 3, which in my own opinion I consider the scarier of the two. Layouts, the places, the monsters, even some of the visuals looked far superior. But what I remember most is how I got lost in these huge areas. It felt like decades before I got out of the shopping mall. The only real scary part I remember that gave me serious shivers was how the world around you would bleed into the nightmare. Like this. This was probably the scariest scene in the game to me. God, that still gives me chills. Come a week later, I wrapped up Silent Hill 3 and was ready for The Room, which was without a doubt the most bizarre of the bunch. The right people understand why. I never actually got to finish this one, and there's a good reason why. There is one event that happened to me during this game that scarred me. Scarred me for about a week. For that week, there was no sleep. Oh, it wasn't the floating ghosts. They helped, but it wasn't them. This particular scar happened in the hospital. You go into this one room. The camera is not facing forward as it should be. Already, that's a sign of bad. And I just, without hesitating, run forward, and right in front of me is the scariest thing I've ever seen. Running face first into this thing from the POV I was in, so dang terrifying, I literally gave out a huge scream in the middle of the night that I swear woke up my neighbors next door, having them worrying if I was being murdered. Again, with no hesitation, I turned off the game and was like, forget this. I'm done. The giant face did it for me. I quit. The game beat me.
You lose!
And for a while, I really was done. That is, until a few years later, when they announced some new Silent Hill games in the works. But, fortunately, or unfortunately, those are stories for another day. We hope you enjoyed listening to my flashback memories of Silent Hill the way I remember it. We hope you have a happy Halloween, be safe, eat all the candy you can, and don't forget to follow your favorite gamers on the internet, because we do this all for you. Be safe. Later.
Good day, sir!